Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Advaita Chandra, Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Can somebody please continue the read?
Can I read?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Lord also said that the living entity is known as the Kshetragya, or the knower of the field of activities. This is confirmed in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna describes the body as the field of activities and the living entity as the Kshetragya, the knower of that field. Although the living entity is continuously conversant with the spiritual energy or has the potency to understand it constitutionally, sorry, although the living entity is constitutionally conversant with the spiritual energy or has the potency to understand it, he is covered by the material energy and consequently believes himself to be the body. This false identification is called false ego. Deluded by the false ego, the bewildered living entity in material existence passes through different bodies and suffers various kinds of miseries. Knowledge of the living entity's true position is possessed to different extents by different types of living entities.
So Lord Chaitanya is continuing to speak about the living entity, and same what is said in the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter. This body of ours is called the field of activities. It's called the Kshetra. Kshetra is field. No? So this is the field of activities. And we, the soul, we are called the knower of the field of activities. We are supposed to be the knower of the body. You know, we are thinking we are the body, but actually we are the knower of the body. So because we are covered now by this illusion, by the illusory potency of Maya, she has covered us and we are thinking I'm the body. And this is our false ego. And because of this, we keep thinking I'm whatever body we are in right now. So we think, oh, I am this and this person. I have to do such and such. I am so and so, so I have to do so and so things. I have to refrain from whatever. It's everything is based because we are thinking we are the body. That's the false ego. Then we give up one body. And then the next body. This continues. The false ego continues. Then we are in another body. Maybe we are in the body of a lion. Then we will behave like a lion. Then the next body, we are in the body of a cow. Then we will behave like a cow. Then we are in the body of a human being. We'll behave as a human being. And in all these bodies, there are miseries. We read yesterday, how many kinds of miseries are there?
Three.
Yes. And that's the nature of the material world. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, Dukhalaya Ashasvatam. It is a temporary place full of miseries. We may say, why there is the material world is like that? Well, that's the way Krishna made it. If we say why the desert has sand, but that's because it's the desert. Why the ocean has water? Because that's the ocean. So this is the material world and there are miseries. And so till the time we keep on identifying ourselves with the body, till that time we are subject to this kind of miseries. Just for our benefit, to relieve us of our miseries, Krishna comes time and again. He comes or he sends his devotees to give us this message of Bhagavad Gita. And in Kali Yuga, he specifically came to give us the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra as Lord Chaitanya. So then, and yeah, in different bodies, we will be able to understand, like, living entity's true position is possessed to different extent by different types of living entities. Depends on what body we are. Our knowledge is going to be only to that degree. Because we are bound, no? We are bound, we are limited to that body then. So,
In other words, it is to be understood that the living entity is part and parcel of the spiritual energy of the Supreme Lord. Because the material energy is inferior, man has the ability to get free from the covering of this material energy and utilize the spiritual energy. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that in the conditioned state, the supreme energy, the living entity, is covered by the inferior energy. Due to this covering, the living entity is subjected to the miseries of the material world. And in proportion to how much he is covered, he suffers material miseries. Those who are a little enlightened suffer less. But on the whole, everyone is subjected to material miseries due to being covered by the material energy.
yes, so we just spoke about it, that that's the way the material world is. We are covered by the modes of nature. This is the laws of the material world. Some may be those who are in the mode of goodness, they may suffer lesser. Those who are in the mode of ignorance may suffer more, but everyone suffers. Even if one comes to the mode of goodness, still one is still in the material world. So one will still be subject to the miseries.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also quoted from the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in which it is stated that earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego all combine to form the inferior energy of Supreme Lord. But the superior energy is the real identity of the living being. And it is because of that energy that the whole material world functions. The cosmic manifestation, which is made of the material element, has no power to act unless it is moved by the superior energy, the living entity. The conditioned life of the living entity is due to the forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Lord in the superior energy. When that relationship is forgotten, conditioned life is the result. Only when a man revives his real identity as the eternal servitor to the Lord does he become liberated.
So Prabhupada would give a nice example to help us understand. He'd say the aeroplane is there. Aeroplane is made up of the material elements, right? Earth, water, air, fire, ether. Now, the aeroplane is there, all the gadgets, everything is there, it's fully functional. Can it fly by itself?
No.
No.
No, needs a pilot, no? Although one may say,
Yes.
oh, but it is autopilot or whatever. But still, you need somebody to press the button. Then only it's going to fly. Similarly, this material world is like that. It's full with this material elements. But it's because we, the living entities, are in it. And the super soul, the Paramatma, is in it. It's functioning. Otherwise, everything would stay there as it is. Prabhupada again would give an example. Building is standing, man is standing. Man can walk, but the building cannot walk because that's the material energy. Now, why we are here in the material body is because we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. And we will continue to be here till the time we do not revive our relationship with Krishna. Because it's our desire. Krishna is, he fulfills our desire. Whatever desire we have, he fulfills. We have a desire to be in one body, then we have a desire to be in another body. And of course, based on our karma, then we keep getting different bodies in the material world. But once we revive our relationship with Krishna, each of us has a loving, eternal relationship with Krishna. And our goal of life is to revive that relationship. And that is real liberation. Real liberation. Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas. Are there any questions or comments till now?
Mm.
No. Then let's continue to read.
Chapter 4. The Wise Man. Since no one can trace the history of the living entity, entanglement in material energy, Lord Chaitanya said that it is beginningless. By beginningless, he meant that conditioned life exists prior to this creation. It simply becomes manifest during and after the creation. Due to forgetfulness of his real nature, the living entity, all the spirit, suffers all kinds of miseries in the material existence. It should be understood that there are also living entities who are not entangled in this material energy, but are situated in the spiritual world. They are called liberated souls and are always engaged in the Krishna consciousness, devotional service.
Does anyone know what the souls in the spiritual world are called? The liberated souls, yeah, the Sanskrit, what they are called?
Nitya Baddhas?
Nitya Mukta, yeah.
Mukta,
The
sorry,
Nitya
Nitya Mukta, yeah. I'm so confused.
Yeah, and we,
Yeah.
the conditioned living entities, we are called?
Tatastha.
I'm sorry?
We, the Jivas, are called Tatastha, and the one who come to teach us are the Nitya Baddhas.
Yeah, we are the Nitya Baddha in the
Baddhas,
conditioned
yeah.
world. We are in the material body, so we are the Nitya Baddhas.
Yeah.
And the liberated living entities who are in the spiritual world are called Nitya Mukta,
Mukta. Okay.
eternally liberated. We are eternally conditioned. That's why we are called Nitya Baddha. Now, what does it mean, eternally conditioned? It means we can't even remember when did we get conditioned. When did we come into this cycle of thinking I'm the body, I'm separate from Krishna? We can't even remember that. And because of this, of course, we are suffering. So it exists prior to creation. You know, creation, it's manifest for some time. It's manifest at a certain time. It stays for some time and then it becomes unmanifested. It goes as per the breathing of Mahavishnu, as we read in Bhagavatam. So when the creation is not there, then what happens to all the living entities who are in the material world? They're still conditioned. We are still conditioned, but we just go to sleep inside the body of Lord Vishnu for a long time, till the time again when material creation happens. We read that in quite a bit of detail in Canto 2 and 3, dealing with the creation of this material world. Yeah. So,
The activities of those who are conditioned by the material nature are taken into account, and in their next life, according to these activities, they are offered different grades of material bodies. Thus, in the material world, the conditioned spirit soul is subjected to the various rewards and punishments. When he is rewarded for his righteous activities, he is elevated to the higher planets, whereas he becomes one of the many demigods. And when he is punished for his abominable activities, he is thrown into the various hellish planets, where he suffers the miseries of the material existence more acutely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a very nice example to this punishment. Formerly, a king used to punish a criminal by having him dunked in a river, raised up again for breath, and then again dunked in the river. Material energy punishes and rewards the individual living entity in just the same way. When he is punished, he is dunked in the water of material miseries, and when he's rewarded, he's taken out of it for some time. Elevation to the higher planets or to the highest status of life on this planet is never permanent. One must again come down to be submerged in the water. All this is constantly going on in this material existence. Sometimes one is elevated to the higher planet system, and sometimes one is thrown into the hellish condition of material life.
So this is the cycle of karma, samsara. If we are doing good activities, then we get pious results. Then we can go to heavenly kingdoms and we can enjoy more. Then again, when those results are finished, we come back to the earth. Then we, uh, if all the activities are, if all the reactions are finished, we'll come to the earth to create more uh, results. Or if we have to suffer for the results, then we will take birth in hellish planets or in bodies of animals, all depending on what reaction we are going to get for our actions. And it's in this human life that we um, earn this karma. If we do good, we are going to get good result. If we do bad, we are going to get bad result. But even if we do good, we're still in the material world. So it doesn't mean that we don't do good. Yes, we should do good, of course. But at the same time, try to understand our spiritual position, who we truly are, that we are not this body. We are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. So Prabhupada is giving the example that when a king would punish somebody, they would be pushed in the water. Now, pushed in the water, you can't breathe, no? You're going to struggle so much. So terrible. And then they were allowed to come out of the water just to catch a breath. And then you feel, oh my God, so much relief. Oh, so good. I can take a breath. But again, the next moment you're going down. So this is our position here in the material world. Actually, there's always misery. But when that misery is temporarily relieved, we are shifting from one misery to another, or it's just a temporary relief, we think, I'm so happy. That's the position here. And one will say, oh my God, such a depressive way to describe the material world. There are people enjoying. What is this? How can you be so negative or so uh, have such a depressed look of the world? But this is not what we are saying. This is what the scriptures are saying as to the nature of this material world. This is the nature of the material world. Okay.
In this regard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited a nice verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37 that is part of the instructions of Narad Muni to Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. Bhayam avityabhi aniveshatashrayad isad apetasya viprayayos asmriti tanmayayato buddha abhajaye tamam bhaktyai keshavam guru devatatma. In this verse, which Narad Muni quotes from the instructions that the 9 Yogendras imparted to Maharaj Nimi, Maya is defined as forgetfulness of one's relationship with Krishna. Actually, Maya means that which is not. Thus, it is false to think that the living entity has no connection with the Supreme Lord. He may not believe in the existence of God, or he may think he has no relationship with God, but these ideas are all illusions or Maya. Due to absorption in this false conception of life, a man is always fearful and full of anxieties. In other words, Maya is the godless concept of life. One who is actually learned in the Vedic literature surrenders unto the Supreme Lord with a great devotion and accepts him as the Supreme Guru. When a living entity forgets the constitutional nature of his relationship with God, He is at once overwhelmed by the external energy. This is the cause of his false ego, his false identification of the body with the self. Indeed, his whole conception of the material universe arises from this false identification with the body, for he becomes attached to the body and its byproducts. To escape this entanglement, he has only to perform his duty, namely to surrender unto the Supreme Lord with intelligence, with devotion, and with sincere Krishna consciousness.
So Lord Chaitanya is continuing to instruct to Sanatana Goswami, and he's quoting a verse from Bhagavatam 11th canto, which he's saying that Narad Muni was instructing to Vasudev, and so we can see Narad Muni is giving instruction to Vasudev, but he's not making up any instruction by himself. He's also quoting what the 9 Yogendras are speaking to Maharaj Nimi. So this is the way of parampara, disciplic succession. Not that I make up something and I say that this is knowledge. No, it comes. We hear from the great authorities. So what Karbhajana Muni, what are the 9 Yogendras saying to Maharaj Nimi? He's saying, what is Maya? Maya, what is it?
Forgetfulness of
Of
one's
one's
relation.
relationship with Krishna.
हाँ,
That is what is Maya. That which is not.
Yeah.
That which is not. So Maya is nothing but that we have forgotten that I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And because we forget our relationship with Krishna, we are overcome by Maya. Or we think there is no God. I'm sorry? We think that there is no God, or we think that I don't have a relationship with God. All this is Maya. And it does not change the fact. By our thinking that I don't have a relationship with God does not change the fact that we actually have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Our belief does in no way affect the truth. Is it? I mean, what I'm saying is it clear that one may not believe in God, or one may not believe that I have a relationship with God, but that does not make it true. What is true is that there is God, that Krishna is God, and that everyone has a relationship with him. And all the Vedas, all the great personalities say that, and Krishna himself says that. So
Yes.
all these ideas
Makes
are
sense.
illusions or Maya, thinking that we have no relationship with God. And because we think we have no relationship with God, we think we are the controller. Oh my God, I have to control. Oh my God. We become fearful. We become anxious because we know actually nothing is under our control. We know at any moment we can be kicked out of the body, or our possessions may be taken away from us. Anything can happen at any moment. That's the reason we're always fearful and anxiety and anxious. So Krishna says also in Bhagavad Gita that one who is actually learned, that bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudevam sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many years, after many birth and death, one who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, saying that I am the Supreme Lord. Such a great personality, of course, he's saying, is very rare. So, but that's the point we need to come to. Krishna is saying, surrender unto me. He's giving us this instruction in the Bhagavad Gita. But we are thinking, no, I'm this body. Why should I surrender to Krishna? Why should I accept Krishna's will? Everything should go according to my will. That's because we are thinking we are the body. We are under this illusion of Maya. So the more we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The more we hear from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, the sooner we can come out of this illusion and we can be situated in our real position. Are there any questions or comments?
Just one question, that as we talked about, like sometimes when a person is remembering, like, sometimes a person thinks that I am really a good devotee. So that is also that there is Maya, or no, when he himself thinks that, oh, I'm such a great devotee, see, I'm doing it. And like, sometimes like you think that, oh, but then if we thank God in that, that converts into something. And if we are not realizing the mercy of Krishna in that, and then we are thinking that we are doing it on our own, is it that we are in Maya?
Yeah, if we think we are doing on our own, that we are not connected to Krishna, that is Maya. When we are understanding it's Krishna's mercy, that is devotional service.
Okay.
Thinking that I am a devotee, I'm being happy that I'm a devotee. Understanding I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. That is not Maya. That's understanding one's position. But thinking oneself separate from Krishna, then that is what is Maya. But we continue because we are not there. We are all trying to be devotees. We continue to hear and chant. And continue to hear, because all these things gradually they'll go away. They are there, of course they are there. What to do? We try to cultivate humility. We try to cultivate tolerance, humility, that giving respect to everyone, not expecting for ourselves, understanding it's Krishna's will, accepting Krishna's will, chanting the holy name, hearing about Krishna. We continue.
Being humble like a blade of grass, tolerant and humble.
Yeah. That Lord, as Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī says, tie this around your neck, and then we can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So we have to, that means that's the foundation of chanting and hearing this verse. That's the foundation. So we need to keep reminding ourselves of it. Associate with devotees who embody it. Associate with devotees who are tolerant, who are humble. So we can imbibe that from them.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think the main core of everything is surrender, right? To the Supreme Lord. Surrender to Krishna.
Yeah. Yes. Surrender to Krishna. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Sachinandan ki jai. Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.